What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining me today. Please be sure to subscribe. Got a new project for you today. This is Project Free Snowblower. I want to thank my friend Zach for donating this to my channel. We're going to try to get this thing fixed up. He said it was running in the springtime, but I could not get it started. That was 9 months ago that it was probably running last. It's still got some old fuel in it. This is a 50-to-1 mix. This is a Toro 2-stroke. You can see there's still a little bit of gas in there, so what we're going to do is we're going to drain that off, the old stuff. But I think the carburetor just needs good cleaning, so hopefully this starts without taking the entire carb apart. So I took this back panel off. It was just one screw here and one screw here. A little plastic cover came off. We're going to unclamp the fuel line here so it doesn't dump out or anything like that. And we're going to just elevate it so that way we can drain it into a container. And then here's the carb bowl. It looks like it's pretty oily and nasty in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this with carb cleaner, and I'm going to take this bowl apart and just shoot some carb cleaner in there, and we're going to try to see if that fires it up. Otherwise, I might have to end up taking the whole thing apart. So the first thing I'm going to do is blow all this junk out of here and clean this up good. So I got my air hose here, air gun. Apologies for all the wind noise. It's very windy today. This time of year is always bad. Yeah, there's a lot of junk in there. Cover up the intake. You don't want to get dirt inside, so I'm going to put my finger over the intake. And you want to get that dirt out of there because anything that's like leaves or anything is going to be an insulator and it's going to overheat the engine, so you just want to keep this nice and clean. It'll prolong the life of the engine. That's good for now. I'll get the rest of the junk out later. Okay, so I'm going to drain this fuel off. Got a pliers here. We're just going to squeeze that red tab. Move that back just like that. And you want to be able to be ready to catch it. So I've got this oil catchment pan here. We're just going to slide this off. You might spill a little bit, but it's not a big deal. Should just slide right off that barb. Now we're going to dump it slowly into this container. I might do this off camera so I don't make a huge mess. Actually, let me just move this back. I'm going to hold this in like that. And we might have to unscrew it. And there she flows. Unscrew this so that way it doesn't create a vacuum. Now you're going to get a little more fuel spillage out of the carb bowl here. So what I'm going to do is try to catch as much as I can. We're going to loosen this up. And that's probably going to drip a little bit more out. I noticed just by touching this with a ratchet, it's really gummy, which tells me that the fuel is bad. It's just sort of nasty and gummed up, which happens to fuel if it's been sitting for a very long time. The fuel goes bad. Now I want to try to catch some of this at least, so I'm going to tip this back over, drain it this way. Oh yeah, this can definitely use a good carb cleaning. Look at that. That's the bottom of the carb bowl. Got a lot of built up gunk, so I'm going to take some carb cleaner, blast this out, try to clean it as best I can. I'm going to blast it in here, blast it in all the open holes, and hopefully I can get the jets cleaned out without actually taking the whole thing apart, which would probably be another video in and of itself with carb cleaning. But if you don't know how to do that, there's plenty of other videos out there. But maybe if you guys want me to make one sometime, let me know in the comments below. There's a little jet inside here that is the main jet, and you could unscrew that if I had a long enough screwdriver. But we'll see if I can just get it just by spraying stuff on the exterior. It might be good enough just to get things flowing again. You're gonna want to be really careful with this. Use eye protection, stand back, because it comes out with a lot of force. And a lot of wind too, so. Don't be afraid to use a lot. Okay, we're good. There's the carb bowl after I cleaned it out. I let it soak in brake cleaner for a few minutes. I'm going to reassemble it. Just to let you guys know, the two screws that hold the back plastic cover on, that is 5/16 screw, that bolt that I used, and this right here for the bottom of the bowl nut is 10mm. Doesn't have to be super tight, just all the way until it stops, and give it an extra little oomph there. That's all it needs, don't have to crush it. Now, we're going to reconnect the fuel line, and this is the primer line. So I'm going to slide that onto that barb, slide this onto here, and we're going to take our pliers, squeeze those little red tabs for the hose clamp back on, just like that. Now we put some fresh fuel in it, and remember it's 50-to-1 mix. This is a Briggs & Stratton 2-cycle engine, so it needs a 50-to-1 mix. Mix for my trimmer. Now I accidentally popped the primer bulb off, and it took me way too long. I could not get it back on, so I don't know how this is going to work without a primer bulb. See what happens. It did not do that last time. I think that might have been just the seafoam that I put in the carburetor, but it fired up. Let's put it to half choke. It fired though, so that's a good sign. More than I got last time. That seriously took me way too long to do this primer bulb. I actually had to pull this off, used a screwdriver from behind it, and push these tabs off. And I had to pry that rubber all the way around it. So I think I have a working primer bulb now. I just need to reconnect the line underneath it. Alright, so I pulled the front cover off of this thing completely. Pulled the muffler off, I cleaned that out. I just don't know if there's any kind of a blockage in the exhaust here, so I thought I'd clean that out. Everything looks okay in the exhaust port there, but I pulled the spark plug out. I think I'm going to replace the spark plug. The gap looks okay, as far as I can tell. I should probably check the gap, but it's got a lot of carbon buildup and everything, a lot of gunk. It's probably going to need to be replaced. So if you have a Toro snowblower, the CCR 2450 with the Briggs & Stratton 2-cycle engine, the spark plug you're going to need for that is the NGK part number BPM BPMR4A. I can't really see that with the glare from my overhead light. There we go, now you can see it. That's what you're going to need. So I'm going to replace that, and we're going to see if that makes any difference with how this thing starts. If you suspect that your engine's losing compression because of a scored cylinder or something, you can look in here and just pull the cord a little bit until you get the cylinder at the top. So I'm pulling the starter rope, and you can see the piston going up. And if we look inside there, there's a little bit of scoring on the pistons. I'm feeling it. There might be a little bit of a ridge, but that might be normal scoring. Hard to tell if there's good compression or not. So that could be a concern if we're not getting compression. If there's scoring on the cylinder wall there, it could be that it's just never going to fire up. So that could be a problem, and this just could be a dead engine. Well guys, after cleaning out the main jet of the carburetor and getting a new spark plug in here, I'm happy to say that this actually runs now. I just had it running for 5 minutes. choke is off. I'm going to leave it in the off position, but let's go ahead and fire it up, and I'll show you the fruits of our labor. I am happy with that result. Hey, for free snowblower and a spark plug, you can't beat it. Guys, if you like this video, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps the channel out a lot to bring you more good content like this. It helps keep me motivated. And if you got any questions or comments, leave them below. Until next time, thanks for watching.